I'm in heart failure. And he goes, your ejection fracture, which should be around 55, 60.
On a deceptively calm California morning, whispers of panic rippled through the wrestling world. Ric Flair, the nature boy himself, had collapsed at a private residence just outside Beverly Hills. Paramedics arrived to find the 74-year-old legend unconscious, his pulse perilously weak and his breathing shallow. Within minutes, he was whisked away by ambulance to a nearby Los Angeles hospital, the pall of uncertainty hanging heavy in the air. News of the collapse broke like a thunderclap, igniting a firestorm of concern among fans, peers, and executives alike. What few suspected was the deeper, darker struggle behind Flair's sudden fall. A covert battle with advanced cancer and an alleged drug overdose that had been kept secret, even from those closest to him. The collapse. Moments that changed everything. Eyewitnesses describe a serene poolside setting, moments before the crisis. Flair, clad in a casual robe, had been enjoying a quiet breakfast with close friends when he suddenly clutched his chest and sank to the ground. One guest recalls calling 911 while another administered CPR until paramedics arrived. In those harrowing minutes, doctors would later say, every second counted. At the hospital's emergency department, Flair was stabilized, but the ordeal was far from over. Initial tests revealed signs of acute toxicity consistent with drug overdose, layered atop a body already weakened by unseen illness. Inside the ER, a shocking diagnosis. Once stabilized, Flair underwent a battery of scans and blood work. To the astonishment of his medical team, an aggressive form of cancer was discovered, advanced and previously undiagnosed. Sources indicate the malignancy had silently progressed for months, masking its presence behind routine fatigue and intermittent pain. Doctors suspected Hodgkin's lymphoma, though final pathology reports were pending. The combination of heavy prescription painkillers, likely taken to manage chronic aches, and a compromised immune system created a lethal cocktail. Flair's body, tested by decades of in-ring punishment, had reached a critical breaking point. The overdose theory, pain or despair. Amid the medical revelations, another narrative emerged. Flair may have inadvertently overdosed while self-medicating to dull both physical agony and emotional turmoil. An insider confided that Flair had grown increasingly isolated in recent months, canceling public appearances and declining interviews. Whether out of pride, fear of tarnishing his legacy, or a desire for privacy, he had concealed his declining health, even from close family. The alleged overdose, if confirmed, underscores the tragic irony of a man celebrated for his unstoppable persona, succumbing to vulnerabilities few ever saw. Triple H's desperate flight, a friend's loyalty. As news of Flair's collapse circulated, WWE executive and longtime protege Triple H, Paul Levesque, reportedly halted a high-stakes board meeting in Stamford, Connecticut. Without hesitation, he boarded a private jet bound for Los Angeles, his departure cloaked in urgency. No press corps accompanied him, and no statement was issued. To Triple H, this was not a corporate obligation, but a personal mission. Sources say he arrived at the hospital ICU in the late afternoon, bypassing waiting rooms to stand at the foot of Flair's bed. Witnesses describe him as pale yet resolute, a son rushing to his father's side in life's most critical hour. Behind the scenes, WWE goes into crisis mode. Back in WWE headquarters, executives gathered in small huddles, wrestling with a dilemma: how much to reveal. The company's public communications team drafted statements, weighed the risk of fan panic, and debated balancing respect for Flair's privacy against the inevitability of leaks. Meanwhile, a skeleton crew managed social media channels, responding to thousands of fan messages with vague assurances: Ric Flair is receiving top-tier care. We thank you for your support. Producers, travel coordinators, and talent relations staff kept their phones close, ready to spring into action should Flair's condition stabilize or take a turn for the worse. Family in turmoil, Charlotte's rushed return. No sooner had initial word reached Flair's daughter, WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, than she canceled media commitments and boarded the first flight to California. Sources describe her arrival at LAX as emotional. Sunglasses and a black face mask failed to conceal her shaken state. At the hospital, Charlotte squeezed her father's hand, leaning close to whisper words of love and encouragement. Though the nature boy's strength had always been his bravado and flair, it was his daughter's presence that seemed to spark a flicker of recognition in his otherwise unresponsive eyes. The emotional toll on Flair's inner circle. In the hospital waiting room, Flair's closest friends, Kevin Nash, Shawn X-Pac Waltman, and WWE producer Bruce Pritchard, among others, gathered in hushed solidarity. Many of them shared their own stories of Flair's mentorship, impromptu training sessions, backstage pep talks, and late-night strategy discussions. Now, those memories collided with the stark reality of their mentor lying in an ICU bed, his legendary robes replaced by hospital gowns and monitors. Tears were shed, confessions exchanged, and promises made to stand by him through the uncertain days ahead. The medical update, 48 hours. That felt like eternity. Hospital insiders reveal that the first 48 hours were the most precarious. Doctors focused on reversing dehydration, stabilizing Flair's heart rhythm, and flushing toxins from his system. A delicate chemotherapy regimen was deferred until his overdose-induced trauma subsided. Each lab result and imaging scan brought its own wave of hope or new concern. For Triple H, Charlotte, and the handful of visitors granted ICU access, time stretched into an agonizing blur, every beep of a monitor echoing the fragility of human life. Fan reaction, social media rally in support. Outside the hospital, a steady stream of fans, some donning their own "Woo" t-shirts, gathered in silent vigils. Mobile phone screens lit up with video montages of Flair's greatest moments. His iconic stylin' profilin', riding the limo entrance, his spirited "to be the man, you gotta beat the man" promos, his countless championship victories. Hashtags like "You pray for Flair" and "Chini Nature Boy" tripped Indigo trended within hours, a testament to Flair's global impact. Well-wishers spanned generations, from lifelong devotees who saw him wrestle in the 80s to a new generation of fans who discovered him through WWE Network archives. The industry's reckoning, a culture of toughness, exposed. Flair's collapse and the hidden cancer diagnosis shone a harsh light on wrestling's tough it out culture. For years, performers have masked injuries, worked through pain, and self-medicated rather than risk showing weakness. Flair's predicament forced candid conversations backstage about the mental health toll of constant travel, the physical cost of violent matches, and the stigma surrounding addiction and serious illness. Some veteran stars whispered that Flair's admission, should he choose to share it publicly, could serve as a watershed moment, challenging WWE to offer stronger wellness support for its roster. Corporate silence. When no news is not good news. By evening, WWE had still issued no formal statement beyond Ric Flair is being treated at a Los Angeles hospital. Some viewed the reticence as respectful of family privacy. Others criticized it as a PR misstep. With rumors swirling and no clarity forthcoming, social media speculated on worst-case scenarios. Sports news outlets clamored for updates, and whispers circulated that Flair's condition might already have reached code blue levels. The company's communication team faced mounting pressure to release at least a basic update on Flair's stability. Hope and uncertainty, waiting for the turning point. As the second night fell, a tentative sense of guarded optimism emerged. A brief hospital bulletin described Flair as critical but stable, a phrase that offered some solace yet underscored the gravity of his condition. Inside the ICU, Triple H was still present, reading to Flair from old promo transcripts and cracking jokes to draw out a reaction. Medical staff praised his unwavering devotion. In a sign of reluctant progress, Flair's breathing tube was removed, allowing him to murmur a faint, "Woo," a spark of the Nature Boy's resilience amid profound vulnerability. Medical experts weigh in. A fractured body, a fighting spirit. Independent physicians consulted by wrestling media noted the extraordinary resilience Flair had demonstrated over decades of health scares, from emergency bowel surgery in 2017 that left him in a coma to a near-fatal heart attack in 2022. Each incident revealed a pattern, a body battered by profession, yet buoyed by an indomitable will. The current crisis combined multiple comorbidities, organ stress from long-term medication use, immune compromise from cancer, and cardiovascular strain from overdose. While the prognosis remained guarded, experts applauded the rapid interventions that, they argued, may have saved his life. Rumors and speculation, the darkest whispers behind closed doors, some grappled with darker theories, that Flair, in extreme pain and facing mortality, may have considered ending his life. The line between self-medication for pain and suicidal ideation can blur, and sources acknowledge the possibility that Flair's overdose was more than an accident. Yet those who knew him best vehemently reject this notion, pointing instead to his survival instinct, his lifelong penchant for cheating death and rallying for one more match. For them, it remains unthinkable that the Nature Boy would relinquish life without a fight. WWE's way forward, balancing business and compassion. As speculation intensified, WWE executives prepared contingency plans, tribute shows, potential in-ring acknowledgments, and memorial segments should Flair's condition take a turn for the worse. Simultaneously, the company's wellness team revisited policies on wrestler support, crafting proposals for enhanced counseling, medical monitoring, and post-care programs. The Nature Boy's crisis had become a catalyst for structural change, an unexpected silver lining amid fear and grief. A daughter's plea, Charlotte's public appeal. In a rare public statement, Charlotte Flair appealed for privacy. "My father is a fighter. Please respect our family's space so we can focus on helping him recover." The plea struck a chord with fans who flooded social feeds with messages of love and solidarity rather than intrusive questions. Charlotte's advocacy underscored the delicate balance between celebrity and personal battle, a reminder that, behind every wrestling legend, stands a family weathering unimaginable stress. The legacy continues, learning from the Nature Boy's trials. Regardless of Flair's ultimate fate, his current ordeal has already reshaped wrestling discourse. The culture of masking pain in pursuit of showmanship faces newfound scrutiny. Wrestlers and fans alike are reckoning with the reality that icons, too, can collapse under the weight of their own mythologies. Flair's legacy, once defined solely by accolades and bravado, now includes a cautionary tale about the perils of silence and the human cost of relentless performance. A prayer for the Nature Boy. As the third day dawned, well-wishers continued to gather at the hospital gates, holding signs, balloons, and memories of the woo that once echoed through arenas. Inside the ICU, every heartbeat registered on the monitor served as a glimmer of hope. Triple H remained vigilant, Charlotte by his side, and doctors prepared the next phase of treatment once Flair's system cleared. In the unpredictable world of wrestling, where scripted endings reign supreme, the real-life storyline of Ric Flair, frail yet unbowed, remains unwritten. Whether the Nature Boy will rise once more to deliver one final woo is a question only time can answer. But if his storied past offers any clue, he will fight with every last ounce of flair and fire. And in that struggle, he reminds us all that even the greatest legends are, at their core, human, capable of both triumph and tragedy, vulnerability and valor. As fans, peers, and family hold vigil, the world watches and waits, hoping for the day when the Nature Boy stands tall once again.